Every headline about ultra-processed food sounds like it found the villain behind modern disease. But then I see whole grain cereal, flavored yogurt, protein bars, frozen meals, and candy all crowded into the same word. Andrew, what is the useful question here? Are ultra-processed foods harmful because they are processed, or because many of them are engineered to be easy to overeat?
That is the center of it. Ultra-processed usually means industrial formulations with ingredients you do not commonly use at home, often designed for convenience, shelf life, intense flavor, and consistent texture, but processing itself is not automatically bad. Pasteurizing milk, freezing vegetables, fermenting yogurt, and fortifying foods are also processing. The health question is whether the product displaces higher fiber, less energy-dense foods, pushes faster eating, or adds lots of sodium, saturated fat, refined starch, or free sugar. A lot of the strongest public concern comes from observational studies. People who eat more ultra-processed foods often have worse health outcomes. That signal matters, but it is confounded by income, stress, sleep, access to fresh food, time for cooking, smoking, and baseline health. So we should not say the category alone proves causation. We should say it flags a pattern that often travels with lower fiber, higher energy density, and fewer minimally processed plants.
So when people say, the science is settled, I get suspicious. What do controlled feeding studies actually let us see? Can they tell whether the body reacts differently to a matched ultra-processed meal, or do they mainly show that some foods make people eat more before fullness catches up?
One newer randomized crossover study is a good antidote to oversimplifying. 43 healthy men ate fixed lunches that varied by processing and texture. The hard ultra-processed meal was eaten at about 25.9 grams per minute, while the soft ultra-processed meal was about 61.2 grams per minute. Same served energy, but the harder version produced more fullness over 2 hours and led to about 118 fewer snack calories afterward. So ultra-processed did not automatically mean less satiety.
That makes the mechanism feel less mysterious. Is the pathway basically mouthfeel to speed, speed to calories, calories to metabolic load? And where do fiber and protein fit, since a crunchy snack can be hard, but still not very nourishing?
Exactly. And here is the first safety boundary. Do not turn this into packaged equals poison. For many people, packaged foods are how they get affordable calories, disability-friendly meals, culturally familiar staples, or safe shelf-stable options. A canned bean, frozen vegetable, fortified cereal, or boxed high-fiber pasta can be useful. The FDA label is often more actionable than the category name. Calories, serving size, sodium, added sugars, saturated fat, fiber, and protein. There's also early evidence that matched meals may not be metabolically identical. In a small randomized crossover analysis with 19 adults without obesity, ultra-processed test meals produced higher post-meal insulin across the day, even when energy, macronutrients, fiber, saturated fat, free sugar, and sodium were matched. That is interesting, not definitive. It suggests processing or food matrix could matter, but the study was exploratory and needs larger confirmation before we build rules from it.
If someone wants a realistic first experiment, who is most likely to notice a benefit from reducing ultra-processed foods? Is it the person already eating plenty of beans, vegetables, and fish, or the person whose day is mostly sweet drinks, soft snacks, refined starches, and takeout?
The second person has more room to gain. The winning move is not just subtracting wrappers. It is replacing the easiest calories with foods that bring volume, fiber, protein, and slower eating. Mediterranean-style patterns are a useful contrast. More plant foods and olive oil, moderate fish and poultry, limited red and processed meats. In a large meta-analysis, higher adherence was associated with modestly lower risks for several cancers and cancer mortality. But that is pattern evidence, not a single food cure.
Let's make that concrete. If I am standing in the aisle choosing between 2 packaged breakfasts or lunches, what signals tell me this product is probably helping the diet rather than just wearing a health halo?
Start with serving size because the package may contain more than one. Then scan added sugars, sodium, saturated fat, fiber, and protein. A useful packaged meal usually needs enough protein or fiber to stay with you, not just a low-calorie number. Be careful with front label claims like natural, keto, or plant-based. They do not guarantee a balanced product. For diabetes, kidney disease, hypertension, pregnancy nutrition, eating disorders, or medical weight treatment, bring diet changes into clinician or dietitian planning. Behavior support can help if it reduces friction rather than adding shame. A small 4-week pilot of the NutriSOS app in 37 young Mexican adults found high acceptability and a drop in reported ultra-processed food frequency from 3 to 1 times per week, alongside lower red and processed meat frequency. But it was single-arm and preliminary. The take-home is not download this app. It is that personalized advice, self-monitoring, and meal planning can make swaps easier when the burden is manageable.
What are the signs that someone has turned a helpful UPF experiment into something unhelpful? I'm thinking of people getting anxious in grocery stores, cutting out affordable staples, or assuming one packaged food explains every symptom.
Measure the experiment by what improves. Steadier hunger, more regular meals, higher fruit, vegetable, legume, and whole grain intake, fewer sweet drinks, and labels that fit your health goals. Weight, glucose, lipids, blood pressure, or gastrointestinal symptoms may matter for some people, but they need time and context. My practical verdict is reduce the ultra-processed foods that are soft, energy-dense, low-fiber, heavily marketed, and easy to overeat. Keep useful packaged foods that help you build a better pattern.